Dear students, in this lecture we are going to discuss about probabilistic learning. These are the topics which belongs to the probabilistic learning. Naive-Bayes classifier, which is the classifier which builds upon this probabilistic learning. For doing that, we have to review the basics of probability, joint probability, conditional probability, Bayes theorem, and finally moves to Naive-Bayes algorithm. Probabilistic learning uses the idea of probability for their learning concept. Use data on past events to extrapolate future events. So probability can be defined as a measure of uncertainty, or it is defined as the chance of occurrence of an event. So this chance of occurrence of event can be identified based on the past data. So use data on past events to extrapolate future events. Based on the past data, it will try to predict the possibility of occurrence of future events. For example, the weather forecast, 70% chance of rain. 70% chance of rain, if the prediction is like this, it means that 7 out of the 10 past cases with similar conditions, precipitation, that is the similar weather condition, occurred somewhere in the area. Then another term is probabilistic classifier. A classifier that is able to predict, given a sample input, a probability distribution over a set of classes rather than only outputting the most likely class the sample should belong to. So what the probabilistic classifier do is, probabilistic classifier is a classifier which is able to predict the future events. So if we are giving a sample input and a previous data related to the same scenario, that is a probability distribution over a set of classes, what the classifier should do is, the classifier identifies the most likely class that should be the output for the input data. Naive Bayes. So Naive Bayes is a particular algorithm which is used in machine learning, and in this Naive Bayes it uses the concept of probability. And another thing is that in the name itself we are having a term called Bayes. So this probability, in probabilistic studies we are having a theorem called Bayes theorem. So this naive Bayes algorithm is derived from the Bayes theorem, and this Bayes theorem was invented by the mathematician called Thomas Bayes. He developed the foundational principles to describe the probability of events, and he also explained about how probabilities should be revised in the light of additional information. So these principles form the foundation of for what we are known as the Bayesian methods or Bayes theorem. So naive Bayes is an algorithm in machine learning which is based upon the Bayes theorem in probabilistic measures. So before moving to the naive Bayes algorithm, we have to revise the basics of probability. I already mentioned that probability is the chance of occurrence of an event, or it can be specified as a measure of certainty or measure of uncertainty. So whatever may be the definition, the probabilistic value of an event should appear between 0 and 1. So probability means it's a number between 0 and 1. 0 means 0% chance of occurrence and 1 means 100% chance of occurrence. So probability captures the chance that an event will occur in the light of the available evidence. Lower probability means less likely the event is to occur. Sometimes the event may occur, but the lower probability indicates the idea that there will be only a light chance or small chance for occurring that particular event. Probability of 0. Probability of 0 means that the event will not definitely occur. The event will definitely not occur. Probability of 1 means it is a measure of certainty. The event will definitely occur. That is 100% certainty. Classifiers based on Bayesian methods utilize training data to calculate and observe probability of each outcome based on the evidence provided by feature values. So here, in this type of learning, they utilize the training data and its features to calculate the observed probability of each outcome. When the classifier is later applied to unlabeled data, it uses the observed probabilities to predict the most likely class for the new features. So when the system wants to predict the output of a new data, they use the observed probabilities, and using that observed probabilities, they predict the most likely class. Then what are the uses of this Bayesian classifiers? These Bayesian classifiers are used for text classification, like filtering of emails, then intrusion or anomaly detection in computer networks, then diagnosing medical conditions given a set of observed symptoms. These are some of the common applications of Bayesian classifiers. So Bayesian classifiers best apply to problems in which information from numerous attributes should be considered simultaneously in order to estimate the overall probability of an outcome. So this Bayesian classifiers are best for the scenario that all the information available from the different attributes are considered to estimate the probability of an outcome. Many machine learning algorithms ignore features that have weak effects. Bayesian methods utilize all the available evidence to subtly change the predictions. In most of the machine learning algorithms, they will try to avoid the least significant feature for their prediction. But in naive Bayes case, they utilize all the available information by analyzing the fact that large number of features which have minor effects when taken together, and when then their combined impact is very large. If large number of features have relatively minor effects, taken together their combined impact would be quite large. So in this naive Bayes scenario, they will utilize all the available information by analyzing the fact that large number of features who have minor effects, when taken together their combined impact would be quite large. They are believing that scenario. Bayesian probability theory is rooted in the idea that the estimated likelihood of an event or a potential outcome should be based on the evidence across multiple trials or opportunities for the event to occur. So we can define Bayesian probability as the estimated chance of occurrence of an event or a potential outcome is based on the evidence across multiple trials or opportunities for the event to occur. This is just a definition. Now we have to memorize the basic terms which is related to probability, event, trial, like that. Events and trials for several real world outcome. Here we are having some example. Inside the example, we can say what should be the event and what should be the trial. Event is head result. So for getting a head as result, the trial that should be done is coin flip. The next event is rainy weather. The trial we have to take is a single day. The next is messages spam. The trial we have to treat is the incoming message. We have to observe the incoming email message. Then the next event is candidate become president. That is the event to be happen. For that, we have to do the trial or experiment presidential election. Then next event is win the lottery. So the trial is that lottery ticket should be considered as the trial. Hope you understood the difference between the term event and trial by these examples. Trial means the experiment that we have to consider, and event means that should be one of the outcome which is under consideration. Now understanding the probability. Probability of event is estimated from the observed data by dividing the number of trials in which the event occurred by the total number of trials. So here this is a basic idea of how we can specify the probabilistic value of a particular event. The probabilistic value of an event can be defined as m by n. We already studied that it is m by n. M means the number of chance of the possible number of occurrence of a particular result divided by n means the number of trials. So probability can be measured as number of trials in which event occur divided by total number of trials. Here we are having an example. If it rained 3 out of 10 days with similar conditions as today, then the probability of rain today is 3 by 10, because we are having a total 10 days for consideration. Out of this 10 days, 3 days are favorable to rain. So 3 by 10, which means that 0.3, or it can be termed as 30%. Another example is, if 10 out of 50 prior email messages were spam, then the probability of any incoming message being spam is 10 by 50, because we are considering a total of 50 emails. Out of 50 emails, 10 are treated as spam. So the probability is 10 by 50, which is equal to 1 by 5, which is equal to 0.2, and it will be equal to 20%. P of A. P of A is defined as probability of event A. So in the previous example, probability of rain is 0.30. Probability of spam is 0.20. Probability of all the possible outcomes of a trial must always sum to 1, because a trial always results in some outcome happening. So just remember about the trial of throwing a die. In the trial of throwing a die, we are having a sample space of 6 outcome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chance or the probability of occurring 1 is 1 by 6. Probability of occurring 2 is 1 by 6. If you are summing up all the probabilities, it is 1 by 6 plus 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 1 by 6, which will be equal to 6 by 6, which is equal to 1. An event is always mutually exclusive and exclusive with this complement. Mutually exclusive means if one result occurs, it restricts the occurrence of all others. So if one is occurred in a die, it restricts all the occurrence of other 5 events in the particular die. Likewise, that is, at a time only one result should be happen. That is termed as mutually exclusive. Then the complement. The complement of an event A is typically denoted by A complement, or it is denoted as A dash, or it can be termed as probability of not of A. That is probability of event A not occurring. So if probability of spam is 0.20, probability of not of spam is 0.80. It can be treated as, the complement can be treated as 1 minus probability of A. So in this particular case, probability of not of spam can be identified as 1 minus probability of spam. So probability of not spam is 0.80. So this is the Venn diagram which represents the complement function. This is this rectangle denotes a universal, that is all the emails under consideration. Out of that, this circle or oval represents the spam messages. Not spam means all the outside area should be termed as not spam. If spam is having 20%, that is the circle denotes 20% of the emails. This rectangle represents, so outside the circle represents 80%. Let us consider the term join probability. In join probability, in addition to the past scenario, we have to add some more features to specify the probabilistic measure. If certain events occur with the event of interest, we may be able to use them to make predictions. That is, in addition to the present scenario, we are taking up with some more conditions or some more situations. For example, consider a second event based on the outcome that an email message contains the word congratulations. So the presence of congratulations in an incoming email is therefore a very strong evidence that the message is spam. Such as in this particular spam identification or the chance of occurrence of spam in emails, we have to consider all the emails. At the same time, we have to consider the emails with the word congratulations, that is having the higher probability of occurrence of that email as a spam. So here we are treating two scenarios, considering all emails and considering the emails with the word congratulations. Not all spam messages contain the word congratulations, and not every email with the word congratulations is spam. Another important point that we have to understand is that not all spam messages should contain the word congratulations. And another point is that every email with the word congratulations is not a fun. So here this is the corresponding Venn diagram representation. So this is the consideration. This rectangle is the consideration of all emails. The circle represents the spam messages. Outside the circle we are having 80% of emails. Then a large portion of the congratulation mail. Then we are treating a congratulation mail. A large portion of the congratulation mail are spam, because this small circle, a bigger part of the small circle is in the spam area. Then only a few congratulation messages are not spam. Not spam messages are termed as ham messages. So for representing the probability, the best way to visualize this Venn diagram, and this Venn diagram was invented by John Mann. This diagram uses circles to illustrate the overlap between set of items, and it is used as a reminder to allocate probability to all possible combinations of events. Joint probability means it's the probability of event Y occurring at the same time event X occurs, and in order to represent this joint probability, it will be represented like this: probability of X intersection Y, or probability of X comma Y. Probability of X comma Y, and both of this read as the joint probability of X and Y. Joint probability means we have to calculate the probability of events occurring at the same time, which is denoted by the intersection symbol, and it calculates the joint probability of X and Y. It says that how the probability of one event is related to the probability of the other. So this is the example. To estimate the probability of both spam and probability of congratulations, its joint probability can be represented as probability of spam intersection congratulations, that is the intersection of two events. So intersection of two events, that is probability of spam intersection congratulation depends on the joint probability of two events, or how the probability of one event is related to the probability of the other. Hope you understood the basics of probability. Thank you.